are live. We are live at a time that most people are not used to me going live. We are live. Shout out from the mountaintops. Call up your neighbors. Call up people in different countries. Even if you wake them up 3 o'clock in the morning, tell them that Lancescurv is live. I just want to let you know that we're going to be speaking in a very coded way. I'm going to sound like I'm high off of something, but that's a smoke screen. That's to get the message out. So it may be very confusing to some who listen. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. I want to say one more thing. If you do not see Lancescurv on YouTube, you can go to Lancescurv.com. That is my website that I will have all my shows on. Why am I saying that? You just never know. So we're going to walk we're going close to the line this morning for those on the East Coast. And let me just open up this banner so you can see what was under the message there. Mass distractions for mass destruction. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. October 13th, we'll talk about that. But I'm not going to tell it all. I want to thank all those who give me information and their perspectives. And I'm going to say that what I express is what I agree with. And certain angles and certain tidbits have been shared with me. So I'm not going to verbally plagiarize anyone, right? But I want to give credit to those who are my informants on a righteous level. I want to say that this particular video is not about doom and gloom. It's not about fear mongering, because we have enough of that in the world, but we do have to address certain things. And I'm not going to call out certain names directly. So you have to put on your thinking caps and really vibe on a deeper level, as I may put it out there in a lower vibrational way. There's a higher vibrational message. You know how I do. I speak with forked tongue. I can say one thing and mean something else. But there are a lot of threats out here. And I just want to let you know that I do believe in I do know, not believe, no. I don't go to work and believe I'm going to get paid. I know I'm going to get paid. Unless we got problems in after that, right? But I just want to say that for me, I know that there's a supreme being and there's a divine order. And I want you all in these next few weeks and upcoming days to anchor yourself in that. But you can't be hypocritical and expect protection. You can't be half-assing it and expect protection. You have to be all in. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. And I'm going to say some adult style things, right? But I'm in that kind of mood. You can tell when I start talking and sounding like this in my voice that anything is liable to come out of my mouth. See, the things that are important to us, we're all in. But the other things that we speak on a facade level, we're not really all the way in. Come on, fellas. You ain't with that just putting the head in. You want to feel it all because you're committed to that, because you want that. Ain't nobody, well, I'm just putting a little bit in. No, you're going all in with that. You go all in with the things that matter for real in life, because at the end of the day, we're going to realize that a lot of the indulgences that we partake in don't bring any value to our life and don't bring any value to our ascension if we are to ascend to the next level. I speak to a lot of different people from different religions. I speak to a lot of Christians. No, I'm not going to pick on them. But a lot of them, this is the time that if you say what you say and you say you know what you say, this is the time to get down on it. Also, these distractions, these mass distractions that are oftentimes and usually all the time so sweet. It's like a kid in a candy store. We're all over the place with our distractions, and we're just so blinded for it. And we have a conscious mind to a point, but it's compromised because we talk the right talk at the bus stop. We talk the right talk while we're waiting at the doctor's office to that patient that we don't even know, but we talk the good talk. But then in the midnight hour, we don't really get down on the things that we need to get down on a spiritual level. We're so distracted. We're like that lady who gets up in the morning, or the man who gets up in the morning and runs 5 miles and runs right to the sandwich shop and gets a big hero spilling over with mayonnaise and want to get a Diet Coke. What are you doing this thing for? And then when it comes time to dig deep into what you should have been putting in your storehouse on a spiritual level, there's nothing there. So I'm going to depend on all that I know in this life, because if any of us are not here tomorrow or the next day, whether it's something that has been forced by world events or something that happens of natural causes, nothing up until that moment is going to stop me from living a wonderful life, because I don't need the trinkets, the baubles, the rubies, and the diamonds of this world to wonderful life. My Creator woke me up this morning with strength, with life. I'm coming up into senior citizen status at 60 years old, and I fully embrace it. I like who I am. I love who I am. If you don't like who you are, I'm sorry, I can't do nothing for you. At this point in life, it's all about truth. At this point in life, it's like a boxer who doesn't want to take on a big opponent, but he wants maximum money. Well, if I'm going to take on that big opponent, I got to get paid. And I don't mean just in finances and cash. It's got to be worth it for me. It's got to be worth it. Let me just tell a buddy of mine that I'm live, if he's not already here. I didn't check the, well, nobody's in the chat room yet, so let me just say, brother, I'm live right now. Come on in. Yeah, okay. I hope the notifications went out. And like I said, I'm going to mask this with a lot of jokes, but I'm going to be saying some things that I found out that are truly mandatory that we know, so that we can move a certain way. So, like I said, let's move forward. Let's have a few laughs, and let's talk about a few things. What I want to talk about first is this whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith separation, that they say that they were separated from 2016. Well, were they really together? And again, why I'm speaking on this is because I'm wrapping the message in the fluff. Mass distractions, smoke screens, mass destruction is what we really want to focus on. But those of us who are truly connected to our Creator, the real Creator, not this peace and love, do what you want to do type, this Joel Osteen type. So I can't talk about hellfire. I can't talk about the rainbow people, but we're all falling short. And yeah, that's why his damn church is full. Because you can do anything and it's okay with him. Like, do you go to the doctor and if you're grossly overweight and your arteries are clogged, you're feeling dizzy, tingling at the extremities, pains all over, and do you expect the doctor to say, well, go on out and go to McDonald's and get that artery clogging burger? Drink all the sugary soda you want. It's okay. You look at it like he's crazy, because this is your life. So why do you bring yourself to a place where you're supposed to be spiritually tuned up? But it's not really for that, because it's all about religion. Religion will never bring you to that better place and help you to ascend. When I need to get up on the top shelf in my kitchen and get something that I can't normally reach because I'm only 5'10", maybe I'm shrunk a half an inch or another inch, I don't know. But you know, when you get to certain ages, things start shrinking, amongst other things, unfortunately. But while I'm happy with the work I've done with that tool, I'm not just about that. But do you get a ruler to stand on to reach that item on the top shelf in your kitchen? No. You get a step stool. You get something you can stand on to extend your reach so you can grab the item you want. So why are you going to these churches that are focused on religion and business when we have spiritual matters at hand? Y'all are wasting your time. And if something jumps off, you see that date on the banner, right? There's a rumor going around that certain people want to do things all over the world. That's just a heads up. So if you're at the supermarket and you didn't stock up for 6 months worth or whatever, there's a message, y'all. I'm like that teacher that's helping you to go on the state exam and pass it. And when they have an item come up in class, they say, you might want to highlight this. This just might show up on your test tomorrow. Well, that's what I'm saying. October 13th is tomorrow. Get what you need to get for a couple days, week or two. All right? If you're low on stuff, just get it. We don't know with evil how deep they will go. How deep is your love? Is your love? Who was it? The Bee Gees back in the 70s? Well, how deep is their hate for humanity? How deep is their hate for all things natural, all things creator? I'm going to use God. I'm going to use the word God. I may not be using it in a European sense, but I'm just saying the whole total system of what has been provided for us to live a pristine life, but we shun that because it's not as shiny and seductive as what is in the man-made world. How about that? So we seduce from the jump. You know, last night before it got dark, I took a little walk. I took a little walk on the side of the road, up the mountain, into the village. Maybe it's it might be 3 or 4 miles. I don't know. There's nothing to judge it against. It's just open mountain, and you see over the mountains and everything. It's beautiful. And I was thinking about the stripping away of our desires for what's in the world. Those things that hold on to us and make us blinded as to what life is really all about.
Well, I'm getting the new 2024 Lexus, and you don't have it. You have a 2016 Toyota, and I'm better than you. Oh.
And the next day you turn around and get a heart attack. Like, what's really important, y'all? We're going to find out. We're going to find out how waterproof your roof is when the storm comes. And that's all we have to do is make sure that we are right. Make sure that we're in balance. Make sure that we are correct. Make sure that we're not wasting time. Yo, I'm not that dude that they always portray on Main Street downtown in any city. The world is coming to an end. We're doomed. The world is coming to an end. Smack that man in the head and say, shut up somewhere. Let's look for the good. Let's look for what Christians call that salvation. Let's go into our storehouse and enjoy what we've worked so hard for to protect us from our roof being so leaky. Because what you going to do during the storm? Oh, let me go fix the roof. You should have fixed it before. What is wrong with you? Mothers don't send their kids to school with a lunch bag that's empty. It makes no sense. You don't take a trip from New York to California and say, well, I'm just going to put 1/8 of a tank of gas in. You got a long journey. Fill it up. Fill it up. But we're filled up with mass distractions for mass destruction. Like in Malcolm X, when you saw that scene when Malcolm X was shot. And when that happened, I was like maybe less than a mile away on 152nd Street. And that was on 168th Street. And all I have to say is that before they shot Malcolm X, there was one guy who said, get your hands out my pocket. That was the setup. So everybody can look to where that guy is. But no, they didn't understand that it was a distraction. And so when the other, I won't even call them brothers, I can't say that, but the other compromised individuals who look like me pulled out their weapons, nobody noticed. And then when the shots rang out on target, All they heard was the shots, and they might have seen the guy. They wanted to get on up out of there, falling all down the steps, sliding, even some of the guys that were shooting. So this is how those in power, whether you know it or not, or know them or not, because I truly feel that the people in power we know nothing about. When they have Forbes magazine, top 100 richest people in the world, do you really think the one who they say is the richest is the richest? If you really had a tally of who was the top 100 most wealthiest people in the world, the richest one that Forbes magazine says wouldn't even make that list. So those people who you don't know, who have the money, who have the power and the influence, they're demonic. Not because they have money. Hell, I wait for my tax return check just like anybody else. But it means that people will bow down to them. And when you have that much wealth and control and influence, you oftentimes begin to feel that you are a God beside God. You don't want to hear nothing about God when you have that money. You don't want to hear nothing about something supreme over you when it's in your DNA to be warlike, want to control and destroy people. But let's get on with Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. And again, for those who came in late, I'm speaking in a very abstract way because there's some messages I want to get out, but YouTube is watching me. I'm like that guy in the classroom that always cheats on the test, but they never catch me. So the teacher, during the exam, got their eye on me. They got mirrors up, looking at reflections, standing behind me. And I'm like, psh. I got my answers written real small and stuck in the side of my pen. I want to get this one out. And again, I want to say that if you never see me on YouTube ever again, you can go to Lancescurv.com, which is playing. This show is playing on there right now. Go right to the website because nobody can touch this. And I will be on other platforms broadcasting there. If you don't see me no more, Lancescurv.com. Say it 3 times. Lancescurv.com. Click your heels too. Lancescurv.com. That's the way to come on home to Lancescurv, right? Let me read this article. I'd rather read it from this one computer because this other computer is making a little noise with this busted fan, but I'm so paranoid to take my stuff to people to fix it because they'll go in there and jack your thing up and watch every keystroke, look at your banking information and stuff. So I'm hip to that. So let me go to this article on this computer and I'm going to shut this other computer down. I don't know if you could hear. And also I have some work going on in the background. You occasionally hear some strikes of the hammer, maybe some tools moving. It's not like I'm in a warehouse, but progress has to be made in other parts of your life. There's a lot more to life than YouTube, y'all. But I love the time that I spend here. Okay, that computer's off. Let's just read this. We all heard about it because it's all over, but I just want to get into it and say a few things because this is part of the mass distraction. You see, Hollywood works in tandem with the powers that be, right? So whenever something is needed as a distraction, you have to call from the pool of available puppets that have fame and fortune, and they trade it off. And it's in exchange for when I need you, you need to be there. No matter what it is, no matter how embarrassing it is, we have to put a story out there. We built you up for this, and now we need you. So folks focus on you. Same thing on YouTube. We have people who are great YouTube content creators, and they're allowed to have big followings. But once the trust that Black people give them is locked and loaded, when those powers that be that afford them that YouTube career, where once they were getting their Black women, I can tell you a whole lot. I'm an old dog, y'all. I've been online since 2021. Yeah, long time. And I've been on it every day, and I'm watching the changes and stuff. And I know who the frauds are. But we have people that we trust, that we feel we can trust. We feel we can trust a Denzel Washington, right? We feel we can trust Will Smith. We don't know what these people do behind closed doors. And I caught wind of a few things from some highly reputable people who can tell me about that. But that's neither here nor there. If you want to believe in these people, You believe in them. And they'll do some really good movies and performances that touch the heart and win you over. This person can't be a fraud. But I'm going to tell you from right now, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are puppets for distraction, well paid, engineered into the psyche, into your subconscious mind. Come on, y'all. If you're old enough to remember, and it was a male thing back then, back in the 70s when I was younger, young teenager, guess what? Whenever we watched a Bruce Lee movie, we all wanted to do karate. Whenever we watched a Rocky movie, we were all boxers. Whenever a Muhammad Ali fight was on, we were all Muhammad Ali. I remember we used to walk around with boxing gloves over our shoulders, walking down the street. And anybody who wanted to play that heavy-handed game of tag, we'd do it. And I would talk like Ali and shuffle like him, but I didn't like getting the punches hit on me. I remember on 105th Avenue between 134th Street and 133rd Street, I don't know, maybe I was 13, 14 years old. I thought I was tough, deep down. So there was a guy in the corner, buddy of mine, Shelton. If you're hearing this, Shelton, I never forgot. And I always joke with it, right? We laced up the gloves. He was so much bigger than me, so much older than me. He beat me from pillar to post. I had ringing in my ear for 3 days. And so now as grown men, I said, man, I don't want that butt whipping from you. Now, maybe I pretty much would get him now. But, you know, it's no big thing to whip a 13-year-old boy. And I caught it that day. Anyway, Jada Pinkett Smith has revealed in a new interview that she and her husband, Will Smith, have been separated since 2016. I got something to say about that. Really? Were they really married in the first place? Though the actors were living completely separate lives for 7 years, they were not ready to publicly confirm the news before, she confessed to NBC. By the time they separated, she said that they were exhausted with trying. The pair still live separately, but do not plan on divorcing. What kind of weird freakishness is that? You shouldn't have got married, damn it. Pinkett Smith, 52, told NBC she had promised herself that she and Smith, 55, would never get a divorce, and said she has not been able to break that promise. Well, I mean, you had somebody else's salami in your mouth, so you basically broke the promise. What are you talking about? I think we were both kind of just stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be, she said. The interview came ahead of the release of Pinkett Smith's memoir, Worthy, next week. Good business move, huh? Good time for her to say this so you can be interested and buy the book. Even that's manipulation on a small level. They just got us like sheeple, don't they? The couple made headlines last year when Smith stormed the stage at the Oscars and slapped host Chris Rock, yelling, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." Okay. This guy, Augustus, I think his name is. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his last name. It might be down here later on in this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But he told Chris Rock to keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. Why didn't he slap Augustus for keeping his organ in Jada Pinkett's mouth, in the house? What kind of Hollywood logic is that? He ain't do nothing about that. But Chris Rock got smacked publicly. It's almost like, I want to show you publicly how much of a man I can be, but behind closed doors, I'm cuckold. Rather, look that word up, cuckold. That's what he is. He's the ultimate cuck. Wife running around doing all kind of things he ain't got nothing to say about it, but as soon as somebody else says something, you want to man up. You ain't manning up. The incident came after Rock made a joke about Pinkett Smith being bald. The actress suffers from alopecia, a condition which causes hair loss. Listen, that ain't no big thing if you're bald. A lot of chicks out here got them long weaves down to the crack of their behind, and they're bald. And I never heard of a man refusing being serviced. Oh, no, sweetheart, you're bald. Don't do that. No. You have to have hair. They're like, well, ain't nobody around. Come on. In a separate interview, Pinkett Smith told People she initially thought it was a part of a planned joke. It wasn't until Will started to walk back to his chair that I even realized it wasn't a skit. She said, I'm going to be by his side, but also allow him to have to figure this out for himself. There was speculation about the couple's marriage in 2020 when the pair went on Pinkett Smith's Facebook show, Red Table Talk, and discuss Pinkett Smith's entanglement. Oh, there's the name there, with artist August Alsina. I think that's it, right? She's telling it. You ain't got no problem with that. But then again, dudes are going to be dudes. So if your wife is giving it out, the problem is with your wife. Dudes are going to be dudes. People you think you can trust, they'll be right up in your wife, behind your back, up in your house, you'll be mowing the front lawn. And if she says, it turns me on while he's here, and we can look at him out of the window. As a matter of fact, I'll be looking outside of the window and I'll be bent over. We'll keep the curtains, but I'm going to say, honey, do you want anything to drink? And he'll say, no, I'm okay. And you'll be behind me doing your thing. There are people like that. I've met and known people like that. Oh, when I come out with the memoirs of things I've been through, I got a lot to say. The actors met in 1994 when Pinkett Smith auditioned for Smith's show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and later married in 1997. They have 2 children together, Jaden Smith and Willow Smith, along with Trey Smith, Smith's son with his first wife, Cherie Zampino. Okay, all right. Who remembers back in the day, it was in a magazine, y'all. It was in a magazine, and I had the magazine, and they got thrown out by mistake, and it wasn't me who threw it out, right? In the magazine, it basically said, this was Jada and Will Smith talking about their marriage, and they said they had an open marriage. This had to be in the year 2000 or the year 2001, right around in there. It could be 2002, I don't know. It could be 1999. How many people remember them saying that, and it's like it just disappeared? How many people here remember that? I mean, because I kind of go way back, right? But it's crazy. Let me just say here, there is come on, man, on Twitch, I'm not looking for no deals. I'm not looking for no deals. Let me just flash this on the
Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion to your channel, viewers, followers, chat bots.
Listen, I'm not into doing the artificial thing. So scat, get out of here. We're doing a show. Always somebody coming around and get your channel knocked down. But yeah, back in that time, they were talking that we in an open, basically swinger type situation. And they were saying it from back then. But maybe it went over so many people's heads, but they never kept pushing that. Maybe they were told to say that. I don't know. They said it one time and everybody knows, oh, I can get down with Jada still. Will won't care. Will might join in. Because you know the rumors about Will. This is not, I'm not here to trash anybody. It's not important because this is part of mass distraction. It's the psychological web that we're caught up in. That's too sweet for us. Girl, did you hear about what Lancescurv said about them being swingers from back in the year 2000, 2001? I heard something about that too. I'm not pushing it. I'm not pushing it to distract you and do the job of the oppressor. No, I'm just using this as a smokescreen to get my message across. Because look at the world the way it is right now. Really and truly. Who would have thought? Let's even go back to 2019. I'm not even going to mention by name the reasons why we had to wear a mask other than Halloween. And for those who don't understand Halloween, who may not be in America, it's that wicked, demonic holiday where they make it seem so innocent for the kids, where they go door to door and knock the door for candy, and people lace the candy with poison. We don't know what goes on, but it's a front and a cover for a lot of occultic activity. But we make evil seem fair seeming. Even the celebration of Christmas ain't got nothing to do with Jesus Christ. Please. Easter ain't got nothing to do with Jesus Christ. They put up a front when they have their wicked occultic practices that go on behind these holidays that the world is blindly giving their energy to, and the occultic people who smile and look nice, and they go to McDonald's and get hash browns too, just like you, and they work a job just like you, but they're into different things and they're not going to tell you. Energy. Where are you putting your energy? Who are you giving your energy to? Wholesale. Talk to me. Tell me about it. There's a lot of things going on below the surface. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I got a bone to pick with a lot of y'all. For those who maybe 20 years ago said I was a conspiracy theorist, right? For those who, when I first got online in early 2001, and I said a lot of things, and all of a sudden, boom, that inside job, the Twin Towers happened, right? Am I wrong for saying it's the inside job? Oh, maybe I need to cool out a little bit because, you know, YouTube is really looking to smash me, right? But you didn't know how that was used to implement other policies and defeat us, in a sense, in our mind. And people who are against us, we gave our energy to them. Create the problem, offer the solution. This is what they do. Is this what's going to happen on October 13th? I don't know. But there's rumors floating around that it's going to be something big. Remember that show years ago? I think it was in the 80s. This could be the start of something big. Well, you know, when people are pushed, I'll say it this way. This might be one of the things you have to see on the test tomorrow. When they're pushed and their voice is quelled, suppressed, you have no other choice but to lash out. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's nature. Every animal in nature has a way of protecting itself. When you see the lion and the tiger, you see those teeth. You're like, Could you imagine being caught in a vice grip like that? In a tiger's mouth, in a lion's mouth, way out somewhere where you can't negotiate. Because every animal falls somewhere on the food chain. There's something that's below it as far as protecting itself that it can eat. And there's something above it that will eat it. So it has to be able to protect itself against those things higher up on the food chain, just as well as it has to eat. And this is nature. This is the way it is. But we who claim to be the highest creature on earth, and we're so amped up, and we're so souped up, and we're so self-righteous, those of them who claim to be part of the human family, it's nothing but bloodshed wherever they go. And they'll turn around and tell you that you better be lucky that you hung with us, that we took you out of where you were because we taught you civilization. So tell me, in 2023, is this civilization? Break down the word civil. What are people fighting for all over the world? The world is jacked up. These are the leaders that you elected, but the people who are pulling the strings behind it, they are following their orders. I don't want to call out no names, but you will know the multiple wars that are going on right now. And you know bloodshed all over the earth. Why? Why? See, certain things are amped up. This is why I have a little sign here next to Jada Pinkett's bald head, and I wish you would try to come over to be Will Smith and smack me. We're going to see something. But on the sign that says media, and there are 5 little signs under it that says internet, television, radio, newspapers, magazines. If one doesn't get you, another one will. Some of us get all our stuff off the internet. And the bad part about it is there's no accountability. You can look at a reply or a comment on a website or YouTube and take it as gospel because you saw it on the internet. No accountability, no checking the source. On television, it might be a little better. Radio, newspapers, and magazines, it might be a little better, but they will omit certain key elements of a story so that you'll be misled. and you add in your part of it and see it the way they want you to see it. They're engineering the thoughts in your mind. Mind control. So what do you do when the media is owned mostly by the same two people? Mainstream media. Can't recall their names of the company. But look, anybody who's listening to this show, I don't have to preach to the choir. So if they own this, who else would work along with them when they want to control the minds of the people? The so-called government that's run by those hidden string pullers. So why am I saying all this? Look at Joe Biden. What is he making a fist for? You see the picture right here next to my head? What is he making a fist for? He can't even stand up. This guy looks like he's in a medicated drunken stupor half the time. Reaching over to shake people's hands on the stage who ain't even there. Falling up the steps. Damn, don't even fall down the steps. How you gonna repeatedly fall up the steps? Riding bikes and can't stop and falling off bikes. This guy is so propped up. Is it really him that runs America? You really got to be foolish if you think so. But since he's the representative of those string pullers, and I will say it, I've said in the past some things about Trump, maybe like 10 years ago. I didn't understand certain things that he said, and I said some things against him. But I have to say it, I'm going to say it publicly. Number one, I don't do the political thing. But I will say this, America would be better off if Donald Trump was in office. You know why? He doesn't need the string pullers behind him. But and I've been informed of this, my very good friend, you know who you are. I just let you know the stream was live, that I didn't know this, that even ex-presidents must be briefed, just like they were in office, briefed fully on what's happening in the world, on what they don't tell you about. They don't tell the public this stuff. There are things that go down in the world as far as we're concerned, and we never know it. That's messed up. That's like being married to somebody and they don't tell you all the things that are going on in your household, but all your neighbors know. Like, what the hell is that? Are we married? You married to them or you married to me? Ridiculous, dysfunctional. But Donald Trump is not part of it. He has his own money. He don't need that chump change that they give him every year. And he's independent. He's cocky. Yeah, he says some things about grabbing cats. I'm not talking about a kitty cat too, but I am talking about a kitty. Look, he's a crazy New Yorker like me. So he will say things, but what has he done? There were no wars when he was in office. There were a lot of, look, I'm not playing a political thing. Do what you want. But this whole thing about we black people and we need to follow the Democrats. I'm not even saying follow Republican. Do it on a policy by policy basis. But right now, you want to get the job done. When you see that big bug crawling up your wall and you want to smash it because you don't want it crawling on you when you're sleeping, if it gets away and decides to come out in the middle of the night and crawl up your leg, you don't say, well, let me go in the backyard and get this tool. Let me get this thing. By the time you come back, it's gone. You grab anything. You start looking around. I remember I saw this huge bug and I had this little paper cup. It wasn't like a tiny Dixie cup. It was like twice that size. And it was like 25% of liquid left in there. I saw this bug. I didn't have any tissue. I wanted to keep it in my sight. I threw the liquid on the ground and smashed the bug with the cup. You grab what you got to grab to get the job done. Stop with the whole personality hating and party affiliation and loyalty. And no, if Donald Trump is the one to get the job done, stop the bickering, stop the arguing. I don't do politics like that. And I know, see, what I do feel, I can't say I know it, but he ain't gonna be compromised by the powers that be. This is why he's got to be protected more so. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? Politics? You favor him? His father was a racist and so and so. Well, how many times you went to the doctor and the doctor was a racist and you didn't even know it? Could have prescribed you something to knock you off in 2 months. Slow burn, slow death. How many times have you gotten a mortgage at a bank, but the person who gave it to you and worked it out was a racist? Let's hope that the people who prepared your food at the restaurant didn't spit in it, but maybe they didn't. But then you got your own black people here plotting against you. You got your own black people here talking bad about you, smearing your name, trying to discourage you, right? We are our own worst enemy. I'm going to take a little break from this particular trajectory that I'm on. I'm done with Will and Jada. I just put their face and tagged it for the algorithms because they're the mass distractions as well as other things are. You go on the various, see, when I wake up, I go on various pages that monitor what is being searched, what people are looking at overall. And then I come over to the black side of town. There's certain sites that I look at that tell me what a lot of black people are looking at. But it's not just a black people thing, because like I said, it's not just that. I'm a black man, I'm gonna speak about black people, and I have the right to smack them and whip their ass and give them a spanking when I want to, because I grew up that way and I know how these people are. I said these people because, you know, we all don't have the same mindset. You know, we're fighting right now amongst the fighting in the world, right? We're fighting. Look, we're weirdos. Black. Let me say it. I'm gonna say it. Most black people got the weirdo chip in them. Most black people are friggin' weirdos. More concerned what they call themselves. No matter what the icing, the cake is the same. You can have chocolate cake. You can have 10 of them. And one put on some strawberry icing and vanilla icing and chocolate icing and all different types of colors and sprinkles and all kind of, what do you call it? The cream, the fluffy thing that you spray out. But you take a bite, it's all the same. Of course, we're not monolithic. Of course, we're not all the same as far as cultural influences, because some may come from Brazil, some may come from the Caribbean, you got black people in Russia. Look at the boxer Roy Jones. He has citizenship in Russia, dual citizenship in America and in Russia. As the original people, we can go anywhere we want. We should be. Who carved up the world and made borders? Who created borders? Right? And we talking about this country and that country. There was no countries, it was just a planet with various climates, some flat, the terrain, some mountainous. We bought into that. And we got to get a passport to go from one country to the next. What if you live 10 miles off the border of a country and you got to get a passport just to go 10 minutes? Do birds have passports? Birds fly all down through Mexico, all through Texas, all through California. They do what they want to do. Or in Florida now, let's just fly on over to the Caribbean. They don't need no passport. Bugs and flies and animals, they don't need no passport. We're supposed to be the highest creatures on the planet, yet we need a passport. Give me a break. We're all in prison. This is a prison planet because of man and what he has done to it, messed it up. And it ain't us in power. Even those of us who are in the motherland who claim to be a leader of a particular country, most are compromised. Not all, because a lot of them are waking up and kicking out the trash out of the motherland. And that's going to be even more reason for the deception. But October 13th, why did I put that there? That the day before 9/11, I'll say it this way. Everything was hunky-dory. Everything was wonderful. It was amazing. And I was in Florida at the time, and I was in the Correction Department Academy. And I found out there was a fellow academy, what do you call it there? He was technically an officer, right? Bale, I'll never forget him. Don't know where he is now. Tall white guy. Name was spelled B-A-Y-L-E. I'm gonna look him up. He was the one that busted in he took a break and went out of the class, right? And we were doing some academic stuff with laws and statutes and stuff, and they were explaining that. It was a lawyer who was there part of the program, and she was teaching this thing. She was a weirdo too. Black woman. She was a weirdo too. Anyway, he came in. A plane just hit the World Trade Center. I'm like, what? A plane? That's not airspace where planes fly. So they wheeled in a television set, and we saw what had happened. I think by that time, one of the towers were on its way down. I'm sitting here looking at it surreal because I think there were 2 or 3 other people from New York City. But I was like, yo, the whole, do you realize how big that thing was, the building? And the other was like, oh, tell us, Lance, tell us. You're in New York, you know. So I had to be the guide, you know. Not that I know anything more than anybody else, but I was like, whoa, look at that. There was something wrong that day. And the day before, everything was just fine. And I'm going to do some research, too. I'm going to go back and look at some of the newspapers and news reports and stuff the day before. Indigo King. Welcome in, brother. Yeah. Look at that. Let me post this comment up here so everybody can see it. Yes, it was. Then all hell broke loose, and a jet flew over low and caused a sonic boom over Virginia and caught a few trees on fire. Nobody knew what was going on. Yes, you're right. So, could this be the day symbolically for the present day, September 11th? Is October 13th the new September 11th? Well, tell us, why are you saying this, Lance? Look, YouTube is watching me. You know, I wouldn't say anything unless I thought there was some kind of credibility to it, and hopefully it's not. But there's a group out here that starts with H, and they're calling for things to happen. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Look at what's happening now in different parts of the world. And to me, as it was shared with me, that all of this mayhem, I have to say it safely now and choose my words, is part of a mass distraction. That all of this has been going on so that the world, I'm going to say it, can be locked down. That all of this is staged so that the world can be locked down. Who knows which way it will come? Let's hope and pray with our energy of meditation, not praying to some white Jesus. I'm not talking about that. That ain't getting you nowhere. They ain't stop 911. They ain't gonna stop whatever. But seriously, pray to those who have power in the spirit world. I'll say it that way. That those of us who have been dutiful and faithful in our walk, that we are protected. But ultimately, this perfect system of nature. Thank you, H Soul. Thank you. And I have to say these things in a coded way, and I had to lace it with jokes, and I will continue to do so. I may not be on as long. I'm going to make a bunch of shorts and go around and create more content in different ways. But I kind of like waking up and doing this way. I think I'm going to start doing this. I've been kind of free flowing because, like I said, I have work going on around me. It's been kind of quiet, but you're going to hear the hammer, boom, 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 you know. So I have to attend to that also. And my hours have been off, but as you can see, I'm really making an attempt to put out regular content amidst the positive changes. I just want to share with you that whatever it is that you claim, whatever it is that you know is your power source on a spiritual level, the real way, not the, my mommy made me go to church and I didn't want to go. And the people say, are you a Christian? Yeah, I'm a Christian. But I was at the whorehouse last night, man. I was smoking some crack. No, we're not talking about that kind of thing. We're not talking about that kind of thing. Yes, Indigo King. He says, happy birthday to my little bro, Marcus, who is my best friend, gone but never forgotten. Yes, much love to you, Marcus. We know that you are still in existence and it may not be on this plane, but your energy can never be destroyed. And your brother loves you. And if your brother loves you and I love him, I love you. That's the way it is, unconditional. Just the same way if Indigo King had a problem with somebody, they got a problem with me. And we need to get back to that. We need to stop with this separatist stuff. I'm indigenous and I'm FBA and I'm ADOS. Your letters now? What is encoded in your melanin, fool? I've said it before. let's just say we're family, we live in New York. I mean, I would say Chicago or Atlanta. I don't know those places as well. I know how to get around them. I've been there before, but I don't know them as well. I know New York City. And you know, in New York City, we got 5 boroughs, right? We got New York State that has nothing to do with the city, right? You got Staten Island, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. So me, I was born in Manhattan and I was raised in Queens. Let's say I had 10 brothers and sisters and they were all evenly dispersed as adults in the different boroughs. Are they not still my brothers and sisters? So if my brother moves from Queens to Manhattan, and I have a sister that moves from Queens to the Bronx, or Queens to Staten Island and Brooklyn, we're not related no more? We're not from the same root? That's like the branches arguing about how separate they are. Well, I'm the branch that catches the light early because I'm when the sun rises, I catch the light. Well, I'm the branch that's close to the root, so when the food comes up from the bottom, the nutrients from the earth, I get it first. You ain't got nothing to do with me. Distractions, mass distractions. They got us all jacked up. We can't even get our house in order. And look at that little sign up there in the corner. Media, internet, television, radio, newspapers, and magazines. Brainwashing us. A house divided, separate, can't do a damn thing. You bring that office furniture home from Office Depot or Office Max or whatever, you know, and whatever country you're in, you have places where you can go get this office furniture, right? It's not the heavy duty, old fashioned mafia capo desk. You know, those things cost thousands of dollars, but you might get a desk that's a little more affordable, but you have to read the instructions and put it together. So what happens if I lie in the instructions and you can't put this thing together? And we're supposed to be together to function fully. We should have people in our family, whether you can prove you have the same grandparents or not. We should be beyond that. Look, we have a common enemy. We should be global because we are global. Why is it that Black people, African people, whatever you want to call it, melanated people, we are in every single country in the world? But yet we don't travel to those places to see those of us who look like us, who move like us, who have to feel the same thing in those societies by the dominant. And it doesn't mean that you're a small number, because we are dominant. We are dominant. If you take one of me and put me up against 10 of them and leave a key in the room, I'm coming out with the key. You're going to see them all on the floor. Even if I don't do that physically, on a spiritual and mental level, I am too mighty. And I got no damn shame in saying that. We're always too apologetic. We can't say that. There's always, we know that. But I am mighty because of my family and my connection to my family. Even if the family's not as big with those who you vibe with, because we have a lot of Benedict Arnolds, a lot of turncoats, a lot of Judases in our family. So Black don't just make it right. Oh, I learned that in the last 2 or 3 years. Black don't make it right. Some of your biggest enemies and detractors will claim for a time, you know, like they say in the Bible, you know, people say, well, it's true or it's not true, but it's there. Satan was up there with God, chilling, enjoying all the benefits of sitting next to God, right? And even he got tainted and he was banished. And not only was he banished, a third of the angels went with him. So if that is not an actual story, look at what the story is trying to tell you. That even he had influence on, we're talking God, man. God. You up under God, hating on God, so you left and went with Satan? Damn. So if they can do that in the spirit realm, what you think about that cheesy person who lives near you who can't stand you because of who you are? It's not even about what you have. It's the light inside of you that you have. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Would you say, Gangsta Slim, how could a grifter give us a label or a nationality? The whole planet is Africa. So what would happen if supreme beings came down in ships that looked like us and said, well, we left you about a couple million years ago here, and you know, we just want to let you know this is planet Africa. Some people would flip. And half of us are delusional anyway, buying into this stuff. Like we know that we know it's inherent in the DNA of some of those. Did I say anything wrong? I said I was going to say things in a coded way today, right? But perversity, being perverse is their way of life. But it's getting bad now, where so many of us are picking up the baton. The baton has been passed to us from someone who is so wicked and nasty and deviant. And we're running with this, defending this, when we should be running toward unity, a unity that we don't have. So now, black people, I'm going to tell you now, if something jumps off tomorrow and you got enemies out there who look like you, you're going to have to get with them. When that panic hits your backside, just like that racist old lady who on September 10th couldn't stand people. And all of a sudden that 911 thing happens and we're all Americans. Yes, we're all one people. Please stop it. Get Bin Laden. He did this. Please, President Bush. The hell out of here. And it went back to business as usual shortly thereafter. The churches loved it. That night and that Tuesday, what? The churches were full. They weren't even throwing tithes at the pastor. They were throwing whole paychecks. Hypocritical bastards, and I'm going to say it that way too. I'm rock steady and solid in what I do. When I committed to coming online in February of 2001, I said I'm going to be myself. Now, the myself that I talk about has evolved. So I said things earlier on because I didn't have as wide of a scope as I do now. I evolved, and we were all allowed that. But when you stay stuck in the stupidity, we know that old drunk uncle that we know of that never changed and died that way. See, we don't have forever. It feels like we do, but it slaps me in the face when I realize my chronological age, because I don't feel it. I feel about 22 years old. I feel like I'm 22 years old. I think much more mature than that, though. And I was a mature kid. Made a couple dumb decisions because, you know, the female form can sway you to do certain things that you didn't intend to do. But other than that, I was pretty mature, but it hits me. You know, Lance, well, what's your age of your next birthday? 61. Oh, damn. What's the next decade? 70. Ah! So you think I want to play around? And I still have my little inner demons that I have to struggle with. You know what I mean? I invite them on in every now and then just to have a little fun. We do, but we have to make sure that we're right. We have to make sure. And if we're not right as a people, see, the world does not care about us. See, we have no friends. And when you have no friends from the others and what's around you, if your house is divided, you're really screwed because they want you gone anyway. So really and truly, we have to look at it as an in-house thing, and we also have to look at it as an overall thing. These fights that you see blasted over CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and so on and so forth, all of their affiliates, that's not our fight. We have to now say to ourselves, what is it that we can do to strengthen ourselves? And the only thing is unity. And half of us don't want that. So for those who don't want that, I'm going to say it and be very blunt, let them die. If they can hold on to that and have so much ego and narcissistic leanings, let them go. This is a time of purging. You're not going to save everybody. The ones who you know are really about it, who are sincere, who are ride or die, not the turncoats, not the Benedict Arnolds, not the Judases, but you have to let them die. This life is not fair. It's not fair at all. It can be a beautiful life if you choose to live the natural way, the way that it was intended. But if you choose to put yourself in a place where, in that system that's engineered, you don't know what number you're going to pull up out of the hat. You don't know what you're going to have to deal with. So still, this is a call to prepare to hunker down and go for what you know. Hold on to your head, y'all, that if anything happens, that it may remove us from this planet, there is another level. Our energy will never be destroyed. See? Don't let the fear-mongering feed those entities whose nutritional requirements require fear. That's part of the trick too. It's a multifaceted thing. They're feeding so much of themselves because of the fear. Or you can eat fear restaurants. All the black folks over here scared. All the people on that part of the country is scared, or that part of the world. I don't even want to call no names. You know, those places that are in Africa, but they don't say it's Africa. They don't want to associate that. They want to associate Africa and paint it as being poor and black and impoverished and flies on the kids with the ribs sticking out. Yet more and more, you go to the planes that are leaving America and leaving UK permanently. For people who have one-way tickets and they don't look like us, they know that this is the richest part of the world and is kept in poverty lots of times because of the compromised leaders who want the money for their pocket, want all this stuff for their pocket, and they are told you cannot help your people. If there are wars here in this rich land, it's because somebody is subsidizing both sides so they can kill each other over a tribal dispute. And after they're gone, the resources are there and will help you conditionally. You look at that sign there: media, internet, television, radio, newspapers, and magazines. They have turned you against your birthright, the richest land on the planet that everybody is filling their plate with. See, when you go to that all-you-can-eat restaurant and they put out a fresh batch of something, here comes everybody with their plate to put those potatoes and greens and chicken and whatever it is that you eat. They ain't gonna tell you. They'll let you sit there. Your back is turned. You didn't see how they put the food out. And by the time you realize that everybody around you got a full plate, there's nothing left. But Africa is so vast that it won't be that. But if the leaders wake up and say, hey, let's stop taking this demonic money and let's work on a divine level. See, when you know that you're righteous, you know how you think, and you know that you would not rule like that. But they would never let the people who would never compromise themselves into a position of power. They will never do it. So even playing that game, you got to take it back. Somebody steals something from you, they steal your bike from you, and they're riding down the street just enjoying your bike. What, you gonna be scared to take it back? Knock that fool off the bike. I don't care if he skins up his knees or breaks his arm. That's my bike. You violated me first. So the universe calls for you to be violated and a little more. A little interest on the violation that you gave me and the inconvenience. How dare you? How dare you? And the minute you have that thought in your mind to steal something from me, you're going to lose an eye. You're going to lose a finger. I'm going to let you know. You come at me with those intentions, I'm going to bite back. But if you come at me with love, I'm going to love you back. If you come at me with kindness, I'm going to be kind to you. But if you smear my name with propaganda, you are banished from my world, and you can drop dead in front of me and I'll step over you, because what you've done is an attempt to kill a part of me. This is the day and age. We got to stop this peace and love foolishness with the enemy. We got to be dead serious. We know that we're loving people, but too many of us are snuffed because of the love that we have in our heart for everyone. You can't love everyone. Everyone don't love you. You got to budget your love. What is wrong with you? See, the slave master done taught us so well to be docile. Even if it's not a slave master, even over here through religion, Christ is white. So we have to treat those that look like him like they're gods. And they're using us over here. And the people here do not see it. And when they do see it, they're chastised by the people here who got remember that episode of Star Trek years ago back in the 60s where everybody was hit with this plant and they called it the spores?
I think it was a power outage due to what the work that's being done here. Let me see. Or it could be the whole area. Let me know in the chat room if you can hear me, because I was about to wrap it down anyway, but I was a little bit on fire. Let me see something here. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Is this something? I'm at the box right now. Is this something local? Or is this something? And if it does come back on, I'm going to stay right here because I want to walk around. Let's see. Uh-oh, it was just me. Somebody hit something and the power in the house went out. Let me know if you can still hear me because I'm walking around. I don't want to be stuck by the desk and that might happen again. So let me go out on one of these balconies and just enjoy some weather, even though it looks like it's going to rain. Okay, good. Thank you, Golden Brown. Thank you. I'm going to direct. Now this threw me into a whole different mood, right? Because I'm thinking like, they're trying to stop me. And we can't even let our paranoia get the best of us, right? Because there's not always some conspiracy going on. I wish I can show you. Maybe I will show you some of the sites out here. Let me get my other set of key. No, I'll take this key. Yeah, let me, it's definitely gonna rain. Wow. I should be walking outside, but I don't have enough bug repellent because they'll tear my little legs up. Come on, Key. Cooperate with me. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you can hear me. The power's back on though. But like I said, I got some guys down here doing work. Oh hell, let me just close it like this. Might open up a little bit. Yes, now I'm outside. And this is gonna make me tranquil and take away the fire a little bit because everything is looking so nice out here. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'll avoid that technicality. I'm still gonna go back inside and probably go back on and get back into that zone. But like I said, we have got to definitely go back to what we know, what we were taught, and throw away the ineffective crap that we've picked up along the way in this life. Those distractions, those things that are no good for us. We waste a lot. And I always make that joke. And this, I guess, is mainly an American joke. Maybe people won't understand this. But when you're broke, you get that no-name brand of orange juice. And when you got money, or you think you got money, you get Tropicana. You don't care. Because like, yeah, Tropicana tastes good. It's all oranges, but the perception is one thing is better than the other. And we have fallen victim. I'm going to go back inside. This stuff started biting me as soon as I came out there. And I'll stay connected to the phone like I am now. But and I didn't have it set up. I should have had it set up and ready just in case that happened. So that I had cut the other computer off. Let me, it's gonna take a second to fire up, but we're gonna keep talking. All right. Give me a second with that, but we're gonna keep talking. And there will be no interruptions because I'm gonna keep this going on. Yeah, so anyway, now that I figured that out, because it kind of threw me off a little bit, the computer's coming on. Just takes a second to fire up and everything. But we're so distracted. And let me just say a little more, okay? Power outages, the grid taken down, bombs, food shortages, sleeper cells. If the call is to bring worldwide mayhem, do you think it's the people in that part of the world, that group that they demonize now that starts with the letter H? That may be part of the plan to do these things and demonize them. Maybe they are the fall guys. So we think that it's them, just like we thought that it was bin Laden, and ended up not being, right? So the world is a stage, and so many of these things are staged. But all I want to say is that don't live in fear. You're going to have to dig deep into the storehouse of, may I say it, positivity. And people will say, well, it's hard to be positive these days. Okay, restore pages. Let me put this back on. I prefer the sound of the mic, of that mic. But we're going to have to dig deep. If you have not been putting anything of note into your storehouse, how do you have anything, or how are you going to have anything from which to draw from? You're not. So if you've been gossiping and peeping and creeping and doing things you shouldn't be doing, you're not going to have anything there. Okay, good. Ooh, hold on. Okay, I'm going to mute myself on this one. Okay, let me see. Is this echoing? Because I thought I had it right. I have the mic on the phone. That's bringing me echo. I'm gonna shut it off right now. And if you continue to hear me after I say I shut it off, then I know I'm good. I'm gonna shut it off now. Let me know if you can hear me after this point. Maybe I need to just finish this up on the phone. Let me mute that. Now, can you hear me now? Because I got other things I'm gonna do today. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me put my other mic back in this phone. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Simple stuff. Okay. I know what to do. Okay, let me know if you can hear me now. What the heck is going on here? Okay, I know what it is. Okay, I muted that. Okay. I'm gonna turn this down. But why is this other thing? Back on the phone. I'm gonna stay that way. I just cut the computer and everything off completely. Now that last little bit was some funny business. It had nothing to do with the people working in the house, maybe tripping a breaker or something like that. Right now, let me know if you can hear me. I'm about to get off. I'll say a few more things. I just want to know for the sake of everything I have here. And let me know if you can hear me. Thank you, Fern Ray. Thank you so much. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, thank you, Jack Griffin. Thank you so much. You can never go wrong with Jack Griffin. Okay, let me get back on track. I do want to talk more, but that whole thing threw me off. So let me kind of get into my Vulcan mind meld and get back in the mood. Doom, 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 doom. You know that Mr. Spock music when he puts his hands on your head. You can't hide no secrets from Mr. Spock. When Mr. Spock put his hands on your head and does that Vulcan mind mode, he'll let you know secrets you were keeping, Captain. Those 3 pornographic magazines that you kept under your mattress. We need to get rid of them before the Federation does its inspection. I know I'm stupid like that, but yeah, let me put this phone down. And I'm holding it like I'm talking into it, but I'm actually talking into my mic. So let's do it that way. I'm away from the chat room, y'all. So if I don't answer you back, just don't think I'm dissing you or ignoring you. I gotta kind of zone out when I talk. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know what they tell us. It's like that cheating boyfriend that just tells you he was never cheating, but you catch him all the time and he says this is the last time, but he keeps on doing it. You just don't know. And he might come back and be faithful. But now you're so burnt by the lies that you can't trust him. It's the same way with the media. When are you going to wake up and understand that it's not their job to tell you the truth? That we're living in what they call the Matrix and what Dr. Ade calls the Patrix. And they're not here for us. There's poison in the candy. There's poison in the medicine. No, there's poison in the candy and sugar in the medicine. So we don't know what we're getting. But we're allowing these people to get into our mind and divide us up. Look, we're on this earth. We want to feed our families. We want good shelter for our families. We want some type of employment, man, because we're in the system, but we shouldn't be seeking that out. If you're still in it, I mean, I'm still in it. I get a check every month. It ain't much, but I depend on that while I'm in the system. But still, my goal is to completely come out of the system of nature, the system of God, those fruits that he gave us and the perfect climate that he gave us and the peace of mind that comes with unity, that we shouldn't have to trade money between any one of us. That's a problem. Because see, if we do for each other, and I'm a roofer, and you're an electrician, and the next person's a doctor, and the next person may be an older woman, a wonderful older woman like a Dr. Ade, who doesn't mind me saying that she's 84 years old. But look at the vibrance in her. Wouldn't you like to have a woman like that around your children, teaching them righteous stuff? You understand? We have all the answers in our own community. We have all the answers inside of us. We've been taught to look outside of us, and that's what's taking us away from us. The egg that you get in the supermarket doesn't need anything outside of it. It has all the nutrients inside of it to bring about life. Everything is already complete. But the enemy had to make you feel as though you're not complete, that you had to seek an answer outside of yourself. The God you look for, the Jesus you look for, you're looking up in the sky, but the answer's inside of you when you move accordingly. But you have to earn that inner voice. You have to earn that gift of discernment. You just can't come out living any kind of way and just have this thing. I can tell you personally, from young, I was always one